Incredible scenes inside the stadium. Now we're about to get the final international action of 2022 for Scotland up and running. The World Cup finals begin on Sunday. Scotland will not be troubled by that. We instead will be concentrating on beginning next spring the qualifiers for Euro 2024. So this evening it is all about this international friendly, a 10th international game of the season for Steve Clarke and his team. Turkey against Scotland, live here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland with Craig Levine, Willie Miller and Liam McLeod.
Yes, it all began with a draw against Poland on the 24th of March. There's a heck of a lot happened since then between those two friendlies, the one at home to the Poles and this one as Scotland go to Turkey, and just the second time the nations have clashed as the supporters make life difficult for the Scots ahead of kick-off. They've only actually played 4 friendlies in the last more than 4 years of Scotland now. That is, of course, thanks to the Nations League, as Steve Clarke embraces his number Stefan Kuntz, the former Germany international. Played at Euro 96. Started the final against the Czechs at Wembley. Just before kick-off, the two captains, Çalhanoğlu of Turkey, Robertson of Scotland, and the referee in the middle with the coin toss. Yeah, they've only won 2 of the last 14 friendly matches of the Scots against Hungary and Luxembourg, but they're unbeaten in their last 4. But as I say, because of the Nations League, friendly matches are not exactly routine these days, which is fantastic, you would have to say. The Nations League has certainly been a gift from the heavens for the Scots over the last few years. But this is all designed and preparation for Saturday the 25th of March, when the Scots will host Cyprus in the opening qualifier for Euro 2024. Both teams starting this evening knowing that they've got those qualifiers ahead of them, but they've also both got a guaranteed playoff for Euro 2024 should they need it. The Scots currently in a playoff grouping with Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia and Israel. It couldn't happen again, could it? We shall see. That's for further down the line. In a year's time we'll know. On the 19th of November next year, the Scots finish against Norway. The match is underway, Diyarbakir, and it's Scotland kicking off with a long ball which sails all the way out and behind for a Turkey goal kick. The Scots in their change colours, the white shirts, navy shorts. And as far as the Turks are concerned, all in red with white flashes. They too were disappointed not to reach the Qatar World Cup finals, beaten by Portugal in the playoff semi-final. As the Scots pick up the ball again, here's Armstrong moving towards the edge of the box, it to the left for the skipper Robertson, who missed the September camp. Into the box comes his cross, and the header was high and wide from Lyndon Dykes, who was always guaranteed a start tonight when Shea Adams was ruled out of this friendly match. The Scots starting on the front foot, which is good for them in the opening minute of the game, 0-0.
Yeah, I think that's how you want to start any game, isn't it? You know, make sure that you're trying to play in the opposition half. You know, the pitch doesn't look particularly great, does it? The scenes that are coming into us here, and you know, the atmosphere. It sounds, you know, an atmosphere that the Scottish players will not be used to. I think it will be very vocal. But it's one that you've got to be tested in.
There's an awkward one for the Scots to deal with here, and it's Under who picks up right-hand side of their box. Scotland getting numbers back. Under goes for goal, it's blocked, and it pings out favourably for Armstrong, whose ball sticks in the sticky surface. That's going to be difficult tonight, difficult for defenders, you would imagine, as it's collected in the midfield by the home team with Kokcu of Feyenoord, and he just plays it short, and now it's with Çalhanoğlu just on the edge of the centre circle. Very difficult conditions for defenders, Craig, for everyone.
Yes, yeah, I think it would be for everybody, not just for the defenders, but of course the defenders are the one, if they make a mistake or the goalkeeper makes a mistake, generally those are the ones that are punishing.
Turkey in possession with Çelik on this right-hand side. It's about level with the edge of the centre circle in the Scottish half. He just rolls it back to the number 15, Ozan Kabak of Hoffenheim. And now it's with Leicester City, Soyuncu out to Çelik on this near side. Little ball back there to Kabak and then to Soyuncu as well, who's barely getting a game for Leicester these days. He was a very much a regular before the Turks took part at Euro 2020 last summer. He's found his place in the team, hard to come by this season. It's not exactly been a vintage season for his club either. Here's Çalhanoğlu in the middle of the pitch. It's a rare, poor ball from him though, straight to Tierney, now Gilmore. And hear the shrill whistles from the Turkish supporters every time a Scottish player's in possession. As Ryan Fraser collects, he's begun the game over at right wing back. And then Jack Hendry goes back to his goalkeeper. It's been a tough time for Jack Hendry at club level this season. His team Cremonese, who's on loan from Club Bruges, sitting in the relegation positions in Serie A. It's back with the Turkish goalkeeper Çakir of Trabzonspor. He helped his club win the Turkish top flight last season. It's a long right foot ball forward from him, comes bouncing off the head of Under into the middle of the pitch. Scotland win it back, but only momentarily. Turkey have it, and down goes Cenk Tosun. The referee not interested in the Turkish appeals. And it is Scotland picking it up wide in the right. Fraser, his ball forwards cut out, and it pings back favourably for Jack Hendry. Long clearance down that right-hand touchline. 3.5 goalless minutes in. Turkey now back on the ball though, and moving menacingly towards the Scotland penalty area. Rolled back the way here for Kabak. Out to Celik on this near side. He's got McGinn ahead of him. Instead, he decides to roll it back the way there to Under. And into the middle of the pitch. Chance here for Kökçü. His efforts blocked. And then Armstrong picks up good footwork from him. He rolls it back to his goalkeeper. Craig Gordon shifts it to the right there for Fraser. His chip ball down the line, though, has gone straight to Özkaçar of Valencia in Spain. And now it's with Soyuncu facing his own goal. Turns back to face the Scottish goal. 4-0.
I think whenever we get the ball, you know, of prime importance is actually to keep it and make a few passes, because they are certainly zipping it about and dominating possession. You know, the atmosphere is very volatile out there, and I think it's going to be you know, sensible heads, calm heads, and I thought that Stuart Armstrong did exactly that when he took the steam out of the last attack. But when we get it, when Scotland get it, you've got to keep it in these circumstances, otherwise it's just going to be wave after wave of attack.
It's going to be a long night, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, great.
It's Turkey in possession. Kökçü moving towards the right angle of the Scottish box. Armstrong does well to win it back. Long clearance aimed towards Dykes, but it's going to be picked up over on this near side by the home team again with Kabak. He finds Soyuncu to Kabak again, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Turkish half. In the 6th minute, no goals. Turkey dominating the ball. Cengiz Ünder moving it infield, and Çalhanoğlu picks up, looks up at the Scottish box, and it's a big diagonal switch out to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Collected here by Kadioglu. Rolls it back to Kökçü, level with the edge of the D. A short pass in field for Under, and then there's a long-range effort, deflected maybe as well, and Gordon makes the save from Çalhanoğlu. He's 30 yards from goal, and why not in a night like that when the conditions are difficult? A shot which zipped off the turf right in front of the goalkeeper, and Gordon pushes it behind for a Turkey corner. It hasn't actually taken a touch. I thought it had done off Hanley. It's a good save though.
Yeah, I just think that McGinn needed to get there quicker to put more pressure on the shot. I mean, if you give good players time and space that close to goal, it can spell trouble.
And it's intelligent as well, the strike, because it's coming off the ground, isn't it, from Çalhanoğlu?
Yeah, it makes it much more difficult.
He's taken the corner short. It's played to Kökçü, level with the edge of the D, bends the ball into the box, headed clear by Hanley. Difficult for Scotland in these still early exchanges. Turkey pick up here with Kaveci. Out wide right, Soyuncu takes a touch, drags it back onto his left, then the right foot presses it back to the right angle of the box. The cross comes in, it's headed away, breaks to Çalhanoğlu again. Gordon saves, but this time on the rebound, somehow it's gone wide. I think the flag is going to spare the blushes of Cenk Tosun, who really ought to have stuck that into the net there. 0-0, 7 in.
It looks as though the ball's moving from the initial shot, doesn't it? I think offside has been given, but I don't know if he was. But Tosun, what an opportunity it is for him. He's got to strike that into the back of the net, is he not?
I mean, worrying again though. I mean, 22 yards from goal, we're giving the opponent space to line up a shot. I mean, the ball obviously swerved because Craig Gordon had to make a last-minute movement. to keep the ball out, and I think it was just offside, Willie.
Well, there is a VAR, incidentally, in operation tonight. I didn't think there would be in a friendly, but there is, as Armstrong picks up, moving towards the box. Left foot cross, ball's good, and it's missed by the defender, but nobody in a Scottish shirt was able to pop it home. But they do have their first corner of the evening, 7.5 goalless minutes in.
That was a good chance for Dykes. I mean, he managed to get a toe on it, I think.
Not quite, it's the defender, isn't he? He's just got there ahead of him, is Oskachar.
I think he's blocked as well, his vision's blocked to Dykes, isn't it? It's a great ball for Armstrong. Fabulous, difficult to defend, Craig. You could put that in the back of your own goal with it coming in as vicious as that, and into that space between defender and goalkeeper. Goalkeeper's not coming for it, so the defender has to try to take control of the situation.
John McGinn will take an in-swinging corner with the left foot to put this right on top of the Turkish defence. The Kosovan referee just sorting things out. It's a very congested 6-yard box. The goalkeeper in the middle of it all. Here goes McGinn's corner, bends it in. It's too close to him though. The keeper holds on. He was fouled as well, was Chakir. And he's holding the back of his head after the collision with, I think, McTominay. It is McTominay. Free kick's been given. Turkey 0, Scotland 0.
Didn't seem an awful lot in that, Willie, was there?
Listen, seriously, nothing against the Turkish nation, but you know that any time you touch one of their players, they're going to go down, they're going to roll about. And that's all it was. It was almost like a slap in the back of the head. Nothing in it at all.
Çelik for Turkey, down the right-hand touchline. Infield it comes into that middle of the park again. Çalhanoğlu looking for Kukçu. Poor touch, allowed Henry to make the challenge. And Billy Gilmore hooks it forward to McTominay, right of the centre circle. Out wide right for Fraser, back to Henry. First time with the right foot down that far side touchline. And Armstrong is not going to be able to keep it in play. And it goes out for a Turkey throw-in.
See that instance there, I think Jack Henry's got to show more composure. Maybe even playing it back to the goalkeeper rather than
just slash it.
It's just a ball down the line, a very hopeful pass down the line. I think once Scotland settles down, I'm sure that Steve Clarke will be trying to get the message on is to try to get a bit of calmness into it, try to keep possession a little bit more, because it's not been great the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're bang on 10 now, no goals. There's a long ball down the right-hand side of the Scottish box, and then it's played fizzed across the 6-yard line there by Under. There's no takers, and Henry plays it off Tosun. It doesn't go out of play. Turkey still have it in the attacking third. Back to that left-hand side of the Scottish box with Tosun. Drops the shoulder, crosses the ball in, headed clear by Tierney. Only half away, it's Çalhanoğlu's effort, deflected wide for a Turkey corner. Past that left-hand post again from Hakan Çalhanoğlu. 10.5 in, 0-0.
I think there you go again, Craig, isn't it? You feel as though the midfielders aren't taking responsibility. They're going back on top of the back three when they've really got to get up against the Turkish midfield.
And that's 3 strikes that they've had from distance, but with players of this quality, Wally, they'll hit the target more often than not.
Absolutely.
He's got over 200 appearances in Serie A, does Çalhanoğlu. And it's a corner which he's going to take into the Scottish box. Good decisive header away by Lyndon Dykes, I think it was, in the 6-yard line. Turkey will build again from the halfway line here with Çelik in the centre circle, rolls it along the deck out to the right-hand side, where it's picked up by Kaveci. Now moved to the fringes of the centre circle for Kukçu. Over to the left here for Oskachar, to Soyuncu, to Çelik on this near side. Turkey bossing the ball. Scotland had a good period just a couple of minutes ago, which led to a corner. And Turkey have looked pretty comfortable in possession. They topped their Nations League group, as the Scots did, albeit they finished with the ignominy of a defeat to the Faroe Islands. They were in League C, having had a poor time of it recently, but they've got another corner. It was worked down the left-hand side this time, and it's Kadioglu of Fenerbahce who's won the corner, so another test for Craig Gordon here.
So far the organisation's been good, isn't it? The players that are supposed to go and win the header have actually done that, but It is another corner, it's another test for Scotland, and you know, they've got to stay as organised as they have been in the early stages of this game.
There's a short option for Çalhanoğlu as well if he wants it, and he's going to step over it. It's going to be an outswinger, and it comes, and it's headed away by Hendry, but the whistle goes.
It's out.
As it swung out of the byline on the other side, on the near side of the goal there. So poor delivery in the end, up 12.5 in, remains 0-0.
Hendry didn't know that, and it was good defending, wasn't it? He's managed to get to the ball first and make his clearance. That's an area of his game that's improved a lot, Willie. I think his concentration in the penalty box. I hope this is not me jinxing him, but
it's normally what happens.
I think he has got better at that side of the game.
Turkey were disappointed to miss out in the World Cup finals as well, losing to Portugal in the playoff semis. It means they've only been to one World Cup since 1954. They did well at it though, finished third in 2002. They lost 1-0 to the eventual winners Brazil in Saitama. Ronaldo scored the only goal to deny them a final against the Germans. But they haven't been able to get to the World Cup since. There was a long spell before the one in Japan and Korea that they had to endure. As Jack Hendry picks up, and he's in an attacking position here, midway inside the Turkey half. Big switch of play onto the chest of McGinn, back to Robertson. He moves it infield here for Gilmour, and now it's McTominay. Short to Gilmour. This is probably the Scots' best passing period in the game. 14 minutes in, just about. First time ball out wide right for McTominay. Soyuncu comes out to get there first though. Not a great clearance, but he's lucky because his ball's gone straight to Çalhanoğlu. Forward now with Kukçu. Turkey in possession with Çelik. Back in field there to Kabek, who clears, but straight to Jack Hendry, but there's a misunderstanding. He thought there was someone to his right, there wasn't. Now it's picked up with Çalhanoğlu over on that left-hand side. Of course, was it the Irish game? Jack Hendry stepped forward and opened things up for Scotland. It was the Irish game or was it the Ukraine game? I can't remember. It was a really important period in the match where he helped set up the first goal for the Scots that night.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever game it was.
It was one of those two.
He was finding himself in that position again there.
It's a brilliant tactic. You know, if they're just playing one up top as well, then I think you know, your two wider centre backs have got to take you know, a little bit of composure, take a little bit of responsibility and step in there. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't do it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with stepping in there, playing the pass and then going back into your defensive position.
Çalhanoğlu picks up, it's a long ball now. This looks to be onside, I think. Hanley was caught on the wrong side, and now Kukçu picks up, he's inside the box. Kukçu tries to pull it back to the penalty spot, and it's cleared by Hendry, and out for a Turkish throw-in over on that far side, the Turkey left.
Well, we're open up on that occasion. You know, that was a great opportunity.
It was great play. Well, it was fantastic play. The Turks just made the wrong decision at the end.
Scotland trying desperately to win it back over on that far side. They'll get a free kick as well. It's Gilmour who's the legs flipped away from him. Be a free kick given against Irfan Kaveci.
This is more like a 5-3-2, Willie, this shape.
Yeah.
You know, with McTominay playing the right side of the three in midfield, Gilmour in the middle and John McGinn on the left, and then Armstrong playing just in behind Lyndon Dykes. So it's, you know, it's a definite 5 for me rather than the 3 that you would expect.
I think the early stages of the game as well. You know, away from
pushed
home,
back, of course, that makes you in a 5, doesn't it?
And they've got a lot of possession, and they're keeping the ball really well. You know, even though the conditions are poor, doesn't seem to be affecting Turkey too much. But slowly, we give a ball away.
Yeah, it's a long one, but it's harmless enough. Goes all the way through to Gordon. The target was Cenk Tosun. It's nowhere near the Besiktas striker, and it's with Grant Hanley. Long ball, right-footed, clipped towards Dykes, who does well to flick on. He's barely missed a header in his Scotland career. He couldn't quite find Armstrong. Turkey pick it back up with Özkaçar on that left-hand side. Then they give it away as well. Both teams have been pretty sloppy in the last 5 minutes or so, and Scotland do it again. Kukçu picking up the scraps this time. Moving to the box, option to his right, if he can play it through. He can, the shot is deflected over the bar. Robertson gets the touch, it was Under's effort. And it will be yet another Turkey corner, 17 in at 0-0.
Yeah, well done Andy Robertson. He managed to get back round on the cover there, and just as the shot came in, he got his foot to it and managed to divert the ball round behind for a corner. But it was another worrying moment for Scotland.
It's Ryan Fraser, isn't it? He gives the ball away. He's not under real pressure either. He gives it to Under, finds Kuchu.
Here comes the cross. The header's off the bar this time. Scotland living a charmed life as the rebound goes straight back to the Scottish goalkeeper. It's Ozan Kabak who smacked it off the goal frame from the cross ball. It's a fabulous delivery from Kavechi. Gordon holds on at the second attempt. 0-0 it stays, 18 in almost. But they're getting closer.
You better be lucky than good, Willie. I mean, there's a few occasions that the Scotland have been a bit ropey up to this point, and I mean, that's just pure luck that didn't find the back of the net.
They've been found wanting. I mean, what, you're 15 minutes, maybe approaching 20 minutes into this game. They've had 3 shots from outside the box. They've had 2 saves from Craig Gordon. They've had two breaks, that the one down the left-hand side, that the wrong decision was taken. Then they've hit the bar with a header. Great cross into the box, though.
Here the Turks come again. Celik couldn't get onto the reverse pass by Under after Tierney had misjudged it. And now they come again, Turkey. They can't get out the Scots. Under inside the box. Delicate chip ball, headed away, round about the penalty spot. Çalhanoğlu can't quite control as it's pushed towards the Scottish penalty area, and it breaks through for Craig Gordon. 18.5 in. It stays Turkey 0, Scotland 0 as we see a replay of the header which came crashing back off the bar. Craig Gordon's utterly rooted there. If that's on target, it's a goal. It's as simple as that.
He should score, Liam. It's as simple as that. He should score. It's a really, really good chance.
It's Kabak, isn't it, who... he's a big figure of a man as well. You would have thought that Grant Hanley, who was a good 2 yards off him, would have spotted that and got a bit closer to him. But he should score.
Foul by Sayuncu on Dykes, round about the halfway line. Scotland have a free kick left of the centre circle. It is goalless here. Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland Extra, online, on digital, on 810 medium wave. The final international action for Scotland of 2022. As Tosun picks up in the centre circle, rolls it back towards his own half, but then the long ball aimed out to the right is aimless, and it goes out for a throw-in. On the near side, it was Kachar's ball, and Scotland have a throw-in about midway inside their own half on the Scottish left as they try and attack the goal to the left-hand side. Andy Robertson's over it. It's actually further back than I thought. It's a bit level with their own penalty spot here.
Steve Clarke said that he wanted to get tested. Well, I think they certainly have been tested. And I don't think they've got pass marks yet. They've got off with it. Maybe with a bit of good fortune, I would think. On another day, you could see this Turkish side have scored maybe 1, possibly 2 of the chances that they've created.
And they've had their troubles in recent times. Of course, some of the great Turkish names of the last 20, 30 years have held high standards, and more so than the bull of the Bosphorus, Davor Şuker, legendary striker. 112 caps, he scored 51 times, played at 3 major finals in 96, 2000 and 02. He's apparently now an Uber driver in America after being chased out of his own country when he got involved in politics for a couple of years. 21 in here, Turkey 0, Scotland 0. And Armstrong will take this throw in a bit level with the Turkish 18. Tomini gives it back to Armstrong. His delicate chip ball is easily headed clear. It's picked up wide on the left by Kadioglu. Down the line the ball goes. Çalhanoğlu takes over, left of the centre circle. Clever footwork, clever pass. Kukçu rolling it out wide right for Celik, midway inside Scottish territory. Forward it goes to Tosun. Comes back out to this right-hand side for Under, who's low ball forward towards the Scottish box. Comes right through to Craig Gordon. 21.5 in, Turkey 0, Scotland 0.
Yeah, apart from one sort of prolonged passage of play where we look to be in some degree of control. Other than that, the Turks have really controlled the match, 90% of it so far.
Here's Robertson for the Scots. First time he's played in a Scotland shirt since the debacle in Dublin in June. As Çalhanoğlu picks up a poor ball. Scotland haven't passed the ball well at all tonight. It's a serious issue for them. As Fraser picks up on the far side. McTominay now. Short to McGinn, thought about the long ball. He's got options in an easier position. One of them's Armstrong, he gives it to him. Snapping at his heels was Kabak, still Armstrong though. Gliding out of the centre circle, turns the other way, looks to his left, finds Tierney. It's another poor ball from Kieran Tierney. He's looking for McGinn, but it's going to come right through harmlessly enough to Chakir. And a quarter of this friendly international's come and gone. Turkey 0, Scotland 0.
I don't think you want to be too over-adventurous, you know, try to play that killer pass as Tierney tried to do there for McGinn. It was a good passage of play, just keep it, even though you're not going anywhere.
The option was there for him to keep a hold of the ball, and I think that's something that certainly the Scottish defence need a little bit of respite.
This Turkish team could quite easily have won their qualifying group for the World Cup. Soyuncu's tricked just before the halfway point, left to the centre circle, and the referee having a little word with McTominay. They actually beat the Netherlands 4-2 in Istanbul in their opening game of that group before going to Norway and sticking, well, it wasn't Norway, the game was played in Spain because of COVID restrictions in Oslo. They beat Norway 3-0, and that was their opening 2 matches. And it put them in a great position, but they ended up shipping points where they shouldn't have later in the group, and the Dutch went on to win their section. Scotland pick up in the midfield. McTominay in the centre circle finds Gilmour, who does well. And just about count on 2 hands the number of minutes Billy Gilmour's played this season, as it's moved out to the right for Armstrong. Low ball looking for Dykes. It's won back by Soyuncu though, and then the foul by McTominay. It's a second one in the last minute or so, and this time the Kosovan referee summons him and books him. Turkey 0, Scotland 0. Of course, McTominay missed the final match in that Nations League section against Ukraine in Krakow because of suspension. It's a yellow card here. Don't often see yellows in friendlies. Perhaps nowadays things are very different, but it was an obvious foul on Kadioglu, and he's had a couple of them in the last minute or so.
Yeah, the referee's quite right. Well,
I think so.
I think it was just a silly challenge.
Yeah, particularly he's had the challenge only a few minutes ago as well, so he's putting the referee under pressure, and you know, the crowd are going to make themselves heard too, and I think the referee was right actually. You don't want to see the game, you know, disintegrating into, you know, serious challenges, and that was a challenge that he didn't need to put in.
It was a centre midfield, there wasn't any trouble whatsoever, it was silly.
Celik wins it back off Armstrong. Loose ball cleared by Soyuncu, picked up in the centre circle by McTominay, who finds McGinn to the left of it now with Gilmour. Moves it left to right of the circle for Jack Hendry's in an attacking position. Back to McTominay. He looks to switch the play out to Robertson. Robertson controls and rolls it back to Tierney. Square ball infield for Gilmour. Back into his own half for Hanley. It's not doing the Scots any harm to have some possession of the ball here. McTominay out to Fraser. First time looking to try and break Dykes free, but it was well read by Skachar. Plays it up the line to Kadioglu, and then Çalhanoğlu clears up to the halfway. Picked up brilliantly, really good control out that left hand side by Kadioglu into the midfield for Kukçu. Is it pinched off him though by McGinn? Managed to get back into the Aston Villa starting 11 just before the World Cup break there. 26th minute of the game, goalless. That's rolled back to the goalkeeper Chakir.
Again, Craig, you know, you get Fraser trying the hard pass forward, Dykes is on his own, it's intercepted, you know, and then again we get another opportunity, McGinn, and he tries, he likes to do that, doesn't he? He gets his head up, and I think when the moment is right, and in certain games that's the way to do it, try to hit them very quickly, but keep the ball. Yeah,
during a period like this where you're under pressure, keeping the ball is vital, Willie, and we're trying the killer pass when we just need a period of calmness, basically.
Long ball for Cengiz Ünder is too powerful, and he goes out for a Scottish throw-in deep inside their own half. As we see replays of the header that came back off Craig Gordon's crossbar. Stefan Kuntz with his head in his hands. Chairman in charge of the Turks. As Armstrong heads on, ends up in the centre circle with Özkaçar, and he shifts it to his left for Kadioglu. Gets it back from Çalhanoğlu. Picked up just at the edge of their own box here by Özkaçar. Down the left, they've managed to free themselves with Çalhanoğlu driving down the left, moving into a central area, rolls it in field. Straight though to Tierney. It's another poor ball. Both teams, as I said earlier, have been guilty of that tonight. This comes back to Craig Gordon. It's not a decisive clearance though. Craig Gordon back in Turkey. He was there with Hearts and they took on Istanbul Başakşehir in their final Conference League group match a couple of weeks ago. Çalhanoğlu works the 1-2 with Kukçu. Back to Çalhanoğlu. That's a really nice ball. Drifted out to the left for Çalhanoğlu. Now there's an opportunity here for Květší, left-hand side of the box. His cross is cut out though by Fraser. Now it's with Armstrong, Fraser ahead of him. He's got it into the path of Ryan Fraser. Dig ball, looking for Dykes. Opportunity perhaps to squeeze it out to McGinn. He couldn't quite get there though, and so Soyuncu mops up. That looked promising for the Scots just for a couple of seconds there. 28 minutes in, 0-0.
I think it is much better, isn't it? A bit of calmness, you know, and being able to, you know, release you know, Fraser down that right-hand side, and you know, I don't think the ball was too bad going forward either.
No, it was a good pass.
Yeah,
but Dykes just needed to get a toe on it just to bring it into his path, didn't he? That would have been enough.
And I think when it's on, then you know you can play balls like that. But it wasn't a hopeful ball; it was a meaningful ball. It just didn't come off.
Scotland in possession, and it's arched out to Robertson, left-hand side, and it's an early delivery. Soyuncu clears, had to, because Dykes was waiting in behind him for a potential tap-in. It's out for a Scottish throw-in, a bit level with the edge of the D of the Turkish box.
That's the first time we've seen Andy Robertson marauding down this left-hand side. Normally we see quite a lot of that by this stage of the game, but that tells you how much superiority the Turks have had in this match so far.
Yeah, I think you know, defensively we've had our hands full, haven't we? And I think it's really important in these games to make sure that is strong and that's right. You don't want to be giving away goals, and they've had, you know, 2 or 3 very good opportunities.
Tierney's long thrown in the box is headed half away. McTominay keeps it alive to the left angle of the box for Tierney. Bends it back in. Now it's a header to the right-hand side. Fraser gets there. Çalhanoğlu cuts it out though on the 6-yard line and puts it behind for a Scottish corner. Approaching the half hour. Turkey 0, Scotland 0. Good little period in the game this for the visitors.
Yeah, good bit of pressure. You know, a good header down by Grant Hanley, and Ryan Fraser's up there supporting as well. Gets to the byline. You know, could be a better cross. I think he tried to cut it back when really I would have thought just flash it across the face of the goal.
Yeah, just put it across. Even the defender might, when he's trying to recover, he might put it into his own net.
Robertson will take the corner from the Scottish right. In swinger with the left boot from the skipper. In it comes, headed away by Soyuncu. Breaks the edge of the box, a volley at goal, goes well wide with the left foot from John McGinn. And nobody has been more reliable in front of goal under Steve Clarke than John McGinn has. This time though, he gets it all wrong. He goes a good 6, 7, 8 yards wide of the right-hand post. It stays 0-0, 30 and a half on the clock.
Listen, he could have taken that down, couldn't have, but I don't think you can blame him for having a goal.
Yeah, here's Celik out to Under, right-hand side of the Scottish box, pulls it back, cleared by Hanley. It took a little deflection, which took the sting out of the ball back the way, as Dykes does well to hold off Soyuncu. It's back with Lyndon Dykes, got it from Gilmore, then he rolls it out to Robertson. Robertson looks for the big switch, left to right to Fraser. Fraser has it now, Newcastle winger. The referee's stopping play though for some reason. It's out of picture right now. There is a Turkish player down, and it is Ferdi Kadıoğlu of Fenerbahçe, and he's going to need some attention. 31 played, Turkey 0, Scotland 0. He's gone down off the ball.
Yeah, there's no contact there at all. We're just seeing a replay.
I don't know if it's a hamstring, Willie, or his knee.
Anyway, he needs a little bit of attention. You know, as far as Scotland's concerned, I think they'll be relieved that they're not down in the game. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Scotland should be behind by 1, if not 2 goals in this game so far. I'll tell you what was interesting there. I think that's an injury to his knee, and I think the pitch maybe had some part to play in it. I mean, it's very unstable underfoot, as we can see. So I just hope it's not anything too serious.
Yeah, I think we're complaining about, you know, possession and keeping possession, but when you see a close-up there of the rain that's pouring down, and you look at the pitch as well, and you're right, it looked very soft, and that could have played, you know, a big part in this injury. But the conditions are poor. They're very poor out there. So maybe being a little bit harder with players in terms of, you know, trying to make sure that the passing is good enough and that you keep possession. And the pitch doesn't look great, does it? It looks a bit bare in patches. It looks as though it's, you know,
unstable at some parts.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to make a change, Turkey, in just a moment. Scotland in possession as the game starts again. 32 and a half played. I think Kadioglu wants to come back on by the look of that, but they are readying a substitute. They've got another friendly elsewhere in the country to play. Do Turkey? They're taking on the Czech Republic at the weekend. McTominay picks up in the centre circle and ushers it out to Robertson on the left-hand side. Infield for Gilmour. Short to McTominay, then back to Gilmour. He shifts it to Hendry, right of the centre circle, along the grass out to Fraser on the far side. Turkey still playing with 10 right now. Kadioglu was there, left wing back. As Hendry looks for Fraser, he's picked it up, right hand side of the box. Fraser across, couldn't find Dykes. What a chance! It's just gone behind him. Robertson picks up on the other side, crosses in, and the header will take it behind for a Scottish corner. 33 and a half in, 0-0. What an opportunity that was!
Oh, it's a big opportunity, isn't it? A big chance. You know, Fraser gets himself into a great position.
That was the one across the goal that you talked about, wasn't it? Flash it across the front of the
I think
goal.
he just needs to, you know, maybe steady himself. I think he's too anxious to play. You know, he's looking round and there's not a red jersey close to him. And he could almost, you know, I think, wait a little bit longer and make sure that he picks out Dykes. He doesn't. And it's a big, big chance for Scotland.
Yeah, and I mean, he's put the ball in first time, which, you know, quite often favours the attacker because he gets the first run. But it was great defending on my part there from the centre-back.
Kadioglu off, replaced by Trabzonspor's Eren Elmali. Like for like change. Scotland corner in from Robertson, a header down and away over the bar it goes. It bounced down into the ground and over. Dykes is claiming corner. It looks as though a goal kick's been given.
Is it Henry, you think?
I'm thinking, are they claiming handball? Maybe I'm wrong, but it's come off the surface, and it looked as though it was deflected for the corner, but it wasn't given.
Yeah, goal kick was given. I think you're right, Craig. I think it's come off Jack Hendry on its way as it bounced off him and then off the turf and away up over the bar. It's been better from the Scots though, just in the last 5 minutes or so. Here's Robertson, they're going to force it through to McGinn. He's beaten to it though, and it's cleared by Turkey.
Maybe the secret, Liam, is for Turkey to play with 10 men all the time, and then we could dominate possession.
It's genius, Will. It's genius. So Yunchu has it. He rolls it back to his goalkeeper. Out to that left-hand side. The long ball from Moskachar. Couldn't get it through to Tosun. It's picked up by Jack Hendry. Moving it back to Hanley. It's the edge of his own box. Final 10 minutes of the first half. It's nothing each. Long from Craig Gordon. It's off the head of Soyuncu. Pushing header out to the right-hand side for Celik of Roma. He moves it infield to Kabak, and now with Soyuncu's the centre point of that back three for Turkey. Played back to the goalkeeper there by Oskachar, and then a long clearance up towards the halfway line. Hanley's header back into the Turkey half. Celik, it's clever play, and then McGinn with the pull back, and that would generally be a yellow card in a competitive match. He's got away with that. 0-0, 36 played.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Liam. It was a definite jersey pull. He knew exactly what he was doing. Probably relying on the referee not giving a yellow card because it's a friendly match.
Turkey have it on the right-hand side with Kabak. Marks the 1-2 with Çalhanoğlu. Back to Soyuncu. Now it's the edge of the centre circle. Kukçu with a long ball out to the left. A brilliant take. Turkey are in here. Turkey are in! And the save from Craig Gordon, which denies Elmali, who's only been on a couple of minutes. But he burned away from his man over on that left-hand side. Left him for dead, but Craig Gordon makes the save. Ryan Fraser's relieved.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets himself in, you know, the wrong position, you know, the wrong side of the substitute. Elmali, who should do better, shouldn't he? I think the square pass is on. Craig Gordon does brilliant. You know,
It's a brilliant save.
He doesn't panic. He closes the gap. He makes the angle really tight. But to the big strikers at the back post, I think if he tries to square it, that would have been the option that if I was the Turkish manager, I would hope that he would have taken.
Çalhanoğlu with the corner, the header, this time's wide. Another header, one in the air in the Scottish box from a cross ball, and once again it's Ozan Kabak who hit the bar earlier. Goal kick as he put it well wide of the right hand post this time, and it stays Turkey 0, Scotland 0 on 37.5.
I'm sorry, he's got to get picked up.
That's 2 free headers for me. That's, you know, we're actually been quite fortunate, Willie, up to this point, not to be behind.
Well, 6'2" of Kabak has been left free a couple of times in this first half. Scotland get a free kick. Cenk Tosun appealing to the referee, asking why he's come to that decision. As he left a little bit on McGinn, but he got plenty of the ball as well, did the Turkish number 9. Referee didn't like perhaps the studs were relatively vertical. Final 7 minutes of the first half. Still goalless. Diyarbakir. And Craig Gordon will take the free kicks. Come a long way from his box here. It's beyond the midway point of his own half, left-footed, clipped towards the Turkish 18-yard line, headed clear. Çalhanoğlu then hoists it forward. Tosun battling for it here with Hanley, who brings Tosun to the deck, and Turkey have a free kick this time, and it stays 0-0. It's certainly not being played like a friendly at the moment.
It was a bit of a wrestling match there, wasn't it, between Grant Hanley. Was it Grant Hanley? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think both of them were at it, but I wouldn't disagree with the referee. I think eventually it was, a foul as Tosun goes to the ground. Listen, it's a good competitive match, isn't it, with these two? Because they're big, strong. One big, strong, powerful striker, and another one a defender that likes to, mix it a little bit.
Free kick to Turkey. Çalhanoğlu over it, as he always seems to be. Right-footed, bent into another header. This time, he's found the net. The third free header for Kabak in this first half. 3 opportunities he's had. Should have scored 2 before this one, as he plants the header into the right corner of the net, and it's Turkey 1, Scotland 0, and it has been coming, and it has been coming for Kabak.
That's incredible. I mean, that's the 3rd time that he's had a free header in the box, and arguably the best header of the ball in their team.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't been picked up on 3 occasions. The first one hits the bar, second one he should do better with, and that one he's put the ball in the net. I mean, he's just asking for trouble, not picking up somebody who's good in the air as he is.
It's not good enough, is it? Where are the markers? They've had 2 previous warnings. You've got McTominay there, who's I think looking to be in front, but for me it's Grant Hanley again. He's behind Kabak. He's behind him.
There's 3 Turkish players that are unmarked there.
Yeah.
And if the ball had been lower, one of the first 2 could have headed it. So I mean, that was poor defending all round.
Poor organisation.
Yeah.
Scotland behind then in Turkey, and they deserve to be. They've had brief flurries in the final third in the first half, but Turkey have bossed the ball, and Kabak himself has had a hat-trick of opportunities. It's his first international goal for the Hoffenheim defender. He enjoyed it. It's the first time the Turkish international team has scored in Diyarbakir. That will have gone down well with the natives as they play an international game in the city for the first time. Hanley rolling it back to his goalkeeper meantime. Gordon, first time. Long clearance. Just flicked nonchalantly out to the right-hand side for Under, who finds Kabak, the goal scorer, now with Soyuncu. They've got some fine players to Turkey. Çalhanoğlu just pulls the strings in the middle of the pitch, always looking for the ball. He's the inter-midfielder, skipper. He comes all the way back to the goalkeeper, Çakir.
We haven't had that in midfield, have we? When you look at Gilmour and McTominay, they haven't looked for the ball enough, I don't think, from the defence to start the attack. They haven't controlled that area at all. I think You know, that's a disappointing factor, and that's why Turkey are dominating in the middle of the park. When they do get the ball in there,
we aren't playing through the midfield,
no,
at all.
But they're not looking for it either. You expect Billy Gilmour, that's his kind of a trademark, isn't it, to go and look for the ball and start the build-up. Just hasn't happened for him.
You do worry about Billy Gilmour, don't you? Just now, he's not getting his game, hasn't been getting his game for a good while now. That's chipped down the right-hand side of the penalty area. So Yunsu clears. Scotland on the attack here. They trail 1-0. 2.5 minutes of the 45 left in the first half. Tierney gets it back from McGinn to Robertson. Now with Kieran Tierney. Tierney going through the gears. Poor touch though. And he puts it behind for a goal kick to the Turks. A lot of these Scottish players not in the best of form or in the best place right now, as we see a replay of the Turkish goal, and the line was drawn for a potential offside, no question. Kabak was onside as he headed past the stricken Craig Gordon. Kieran Tierney's lost his place in the Arsenal team, generally speaking, to Alexander Zinchenko this season. He has been playing as Tierney, but quite a lot from the bench just now. Billy Gilmour, I mentioned, struggling. John McGinn's lost his place since Stephen Gerrard left, albeit he started at the weekend in Villa's win. Grant Hanley's back in the Championship with Norwich. Jack Hendry, I mentioned, battling relegation with Cremonese on loan from Bruges. Yeah, I mean, some of them aren't in a great place right now. Looking a little bit rusty, I think it's fair to say. Gilmour and Tierney perhaps more so than anyone in this first half as we approach the final minute of it, with Turkey leading by a goal to nil. It's a Scottish free kick over on that right. Ryan Fraser brought to the deck.
I don't think McTominay's been involved as often as he was earlier in the season as well, so there'll be another one that you...
Casemiro's been playing ahead of him, hasn't he? Yeah, so they're in a good place internationally, but club level confidence perhaps not where they would like it to be, where Steve Clarke would wish it to be. So it goes out for a Scotland throw-in. Final minute of the first half, but it's been one big long struggle, Willie Miller.
It has. You know, the good news is that our competitive matches don't start until March, of course, so it gives them time.
Gilmour's giving it away to the edge of the penalty area. The shot, and it's just wide there. Fabulous hit there by Cengiz Ünder. And again, Stefan Kuntz on the halfway line is left applauding but frustrated, because Scotland giving it away in a glorious area of the pitch for Turkey. Popped through by Kukçu, and then Ünder has just bent that, not quite enough. And it goes past the left-hand post. It stays 1-0 Turkey.
Another big chance, though. Another big chance. And, you know, we've been ripped open at times. So I think very, very fortunate that the scoreline's only at 1 as we go in at half-time. A lot of work for Steve Clarke. A lot of thinking to be done. You know, maybe organisational questions to put to us defensively. But very fortunate not to be, you know, 2 or 3 goals down here.
Scotland on the ball on the right-hand side. Turkey win it by Çalhanoğlu. Battled for it by Fraser. Çalhanoğlu's in trouble. He gets a little break of the ball as the substitute El Mali clears. Went into the first of 2 minutes of injury time at the end of the first half here. Turkey 1, Scotland 0. Steve Clarke taking some notes. Sitting in the middle of John Carver and Stephen Naismith in his dugout. It's been a tough watch. He won't panic. His team's been in more important scrapes than this during his tenure. And it is all about building to that double-header in March. A home double-header as well against Cyprus and Spain. They go away from home in June to take on Norway for a home game against Georgia. So there's 3 out of the first 4 at Hampden. You've got to be looking at 7 points from that, you would think. I mean, they'd love to take a point off the Spanish. Obviously 6 minimum from those first 3 matches.
Yeah, 6 or 7 or 9, Liam, if they have to.
Why not? No, but seriously, you've got to, you've got
especially
to take home
advantage.
Games, you've got to try to take home advantage. So you've got to set the barrier high. Might not reach there, but you've got to. And I think Steve Clarke would be that type of manager.
It just seems a while since they've beaten one of those big beasts at home, doesn't it? As that's flicked clear by the Scots. It's a tricky group. It's riddled with danger. As Çalhanoğlu wins it back for Turkey, and he bends another cross into the box. Turk down on the deck inside the area there. It's Tosun. As the cross came in, he's claiming he was held and Bards to the ground. There is a VAR listed tonight.
He was held by, was it Hendry? I think it was.
Jack Hendry, yeah.
He's got two arms round him and he's barged into the back of him. That's a penalty.
That's a penalty, mate. I mean, he's all over him.
Yeah. He'll be revisiting that now. Although we're into the 3rd minute of injury time, there was only 2 added.
Maybe they've got a Scottish VAR team over there.
Like I say, I've got the official UEFA list in front of me. It's got a VAR on it.
Is it?
I wasn't expecting one tonight for a friendly, but Craig Gordon clears with the left foot. It's half-time, so no penalty and no further damage. The Scots are 1 down. Could have been a whole lot worse. Indeed, the goal scorer, Ozan Kabak of Hoffenheim, scored once. He probably will be annoyed he's not scored 3 himself in that first half. Çalhanoğlu, Ünder Tosun, they've all been threatening, but the Scots get away with it to the extent that they are 1-0 down at the half-time interval in Diyarbakir. The Turks have looked good. Scotland yet to really turn up. There's been a couple of little moments in that first half, but not a lot apart from that. Half-time, Turkey 1, Scotland 0.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, it has been a very, very tough opening 45 minutes for Scotland. Mentioned at the start of the programme that they have been unbeaten in their last 4 matches. It's a 10th international of 2022, but I think we would have to concede, Willie Miller, that Scotland are somewhat fortunate to only be 1 goal down in this, aren't they?
I would say so, Richard. Very, very, very fortunate to be just a 1 goal. And even just before half time, looked very much as though there was a collision there and a possible penalty claim. Shots from outside the box, the under strike as well, just moments before that too, that's just curled past. Kabak, the 3 headers, 1 ends up in the back of the net, 2 could have easily ended up in the back of the net. I think Steve Clarke will be disappointed that the way we've defended. I think he'll be disappointed that we haven't kept possession as well, because we just invite these waves of attack coming on top of us too, by not taking care of the ball better. So very fortunate at half time that it's only 1-0. I think a lot to be discussed and a lot to be analysed in the first half, and I'm afraid to say if we're going to defend like that come March, then the likelihood of finishing in the top 2 is very, very slim. We have defended much better in away games in the past, but tonight hasn't been one of them. I think we've been opened up on far too many occasions.
Craig Levein, your assessment of the opening 45?
Just a little bit underwhelming,
yes,
Richard.
Yes.
We haven't done anything particularly well. Even from the beginning of the match, when we're given room to the Turkish midfield to shoot from sort of 25 yards. And that happened on 3 occasions.
Well, it was Çalhanoğlu, wasn't it?
Yeah,
3 times.
And we just didn't get out quick enough to block the shots, and that there's a lack of urgency in some regard. Going forward as well, I'd like to see us making much more forward runs.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen John McGinn do his sort of trademark lung-busting runs from midfield. I haven't seen that at all. We haven't seen Billy Gilmour get on the ball and dictate play, which he normally does really well. So there's been a lot of things that haven't worked for us in this first half. I suppose the only good thing is we're only 1-0 behind.
Yeah. But Gilmour, he looks out of sorts, doesn't he? He's not going and demanding the ball. He doesn't look as though he's a player that's got confidence. He's anonymous in terms of putting their midfield players under any sort of a pressure. Him and McTominay, I don't think they've been doing their job defensively whenever the ball's broken out at times, and they certainly haven't been, for me, demanding the ball enough in there, trying to build up play as well. We haven't done that. That midfield
it's the whole
haven't
thing,
done it.
Willie.
Yeah.
I think we can look at our defending. We can look at Lyndon Dykes. He's on a couple of headers, but the balls have come up into his feet, and Sionchu's just bullied him on occasion. So he needs to do better as well. So I would say that everybody in the team, I don't think there's been one real success story in the first half. Maybe Craig Gordon, but I don't see anybody else standing out in this first half performance.
Yeah, it's been poor, and I think a lot to be sorted out at half time by Steve Clarke. I don't know where his thoughts will be lying just now, because as you said, there's so many negative issues to be addressed in that first half that he's probably just got to try and get the team in, get them settled down, maybe ask a few questions. Particularly I think we set pieces, we haven't been good at set pieces, but there's so much, Richard, that you could point out that hasn't been the way we were expecting, the way this team has played in the past, and really we haven't been put to the sword. We should have been put to the sword, because this game should be way beyond us.
Well, it is just 1-0 right now. We'll get further thoughts from Willie Miller and Craig Levine. They in the other studio here in Glasgow. We've got Martin Dowden, who is there at the stadium. You painted the picture beforehand in terms of what this game, albeit a friendly, Martin, but it meant so much to the locals. Actually, the Turks have played as if they're trying to ensure that the locals have a special day, don't they?
Absolutely. I think partly because, as I said before the match, they also didn't qualify for the World Cup despite topping their Nations League group, and the fact that this is in a city they've never played in before. I think the scale and size of Turkey is perhaps sometimes lost in us in Scotland. It's a very big country. This a 2-hour flight away from Istanbul, away towards Syria, Iraq, Iran, those sort of places. So it means so much to these locals, and they responded, as I said, 2 hours before kick-off, somewhere in here, certainly just before kick-off. The noise was absolutely incredible, and they put a lot of demands on this side. Of course, as you've all been saying, their side has responded as much as perhaps Steve Clarke's side haven't really performed. And I did say about the lineup, I wonder if Steve Clarke went with that tried and trusted lineup to look to build to the European Championship qualifying campaign, but perhaps with in mind that hostility and the environment they would face here in Diyarbakir. The locals are very happy. They clearly want more in this second half, and Scotland will clearly have to perform way better. But you do wonder whether Steve Clarke will indeed do what he said he would do and introduce a number of players in this game, given what's happened in this first half here.
Right, Martin, thank you. Clearly it has been a high tempo and a very impressive performance thus far by Turkey, who are very much in command when it comes to the game that we're watching. Scotland can make 6 substitutions. It will indeed be interesting to see if Steve Clarke does that in the second 45 or for the second 45 minutes. I think the changes will come. It'll be interesting to see if he makes many or any at half time. You would assume, Craig, that he's got to make a change or two now, hasn't he?
I don't know what his strategy is for this game. I'm sure he will have one, Richard. He's maybe already.
Well, that would be handy.
Yeah, but I just mean with regard to substitutions.
Yes.
So he might have decided that he's going to put 3 players on at half time, provided there's no injuries.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what he plans on doing. We'll find out very quickly. You could take just about anybody off, apart from Craig Gordon, maybe.
He's the one that we talked about beforehand about it potentially coming off.
I know, but he's.
You want him there now?
Yeah,
you do.
I just get the feeling this could run away from us a little bit if we don't, get back into the game fairly quickly. And it's not. It's not the scoreline; it's the performance. We're not doing the things that we've seen this team do. We're not playing with enough aggression, and that's. I remember going way back to the Ukraine match, talking about aggression in that game, and it's one thing that occasionally crops up. With this group is that kind of robustness and willingness to sort of fight, and I think there's not been enough of that tonight. And one of the things that sort of demonstrate that for me are things like not blocking shots from just outside the box. That's the type of thing when the defenders are in a defending mode, they'll throw themselves in front of shots to try and block them. But we haven't been doing that, and that sort of tells me a little bit that we're just off it and not quite at the same levels as we have been.
Is it too simple to say, Willie, look, it's a friendly, it's the middle of November, and it really isn't that important to the players?
Well, that's a possibility, Richard, and as Martin has told us, it's a long way to go, and the conditions are horrible, and the crowd out there are making it very difficult for the players, as you would expect. When you go to these countries, that's what you're going to expect, and it is a friendly, but at the same time, Steve Clarke wants it to be positive, although we're still a fair bit away from the competitive games. He wants to keep the positivity going, I think,
it's
with the
about
fans.
setting standards. And you can go to a lot of the games that this team have played, and different personnel, of course, but the standards are quite high now, I believe, and I think we should compare them against what they're doing at their best, and that's the only way to get better, is to point these things out.
Yeah. I mean, we have pointed out. I think we have made our feelings, clear, and you're right in pointing out the fact that it hasn't been competitive enough. They haven't get close to the opposition. I mean, Turkey have dominated the first 45 minutes, and the chances they have created, have been quite scary if you're looking towards next year. But at the same time, it still is a friendly. I think these guys have given up their time as well. They've been positive about it. It's a very strong side that we've got out there, but they've underperformed, and I think it doesn't do them any good in their own confidence and that momentum that they've got just now. So I think Steve Clarke will be asking and demanding a better approach to the game, at the very least in the second half.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. Every weekday, the Scottish Football Podcast will bring you the Scottish Premiership report card day by day. Ray Bradshaw focusing on a different top-tier team and giving them their mid-term progress report.
I'm Ray Bradshaw, and welcome to the Scottish Premiership Report Card Podcast.
The football club need to decide if they believe Giovanni is the right man for the job, then they have to back him. If they don't, now's the time where everybody would look and think, well, now's a good time to make a change based on 5 weeks, based on a new guy coming in. It's a pre-season, effectively. It's a pre-season with a chance for a new manager to come in.
The biggest disappointment for me is the way the club's going, and it's a shadow of the club that I knew, I'll be honest, and that's overall. And I've spoke to a lot of former players about this, and it just feels like it's a totally different club. It's not the one that Jim McLean was chairman of. It's not the one that even Eddie Thompson was. And I think you just look at the standards around the club as a whole, and they've certainly slipped.
It's difficult. Kilmarnock are in a transitional period because they've came up from the Championship. I don't think Derek McInnes has got in all the players he wanted, and I don't think that was possible because he had a lot of these players that were on 2-year deals in the Championship that are now still in contract. Couldn't get rid of them. So for me, Kilmarnock have still got a couple of windows to clear all them players away and get his own squad in.
You heard Cammy Bell there, I think, giving his assessment of Kilmarnock, Craig Easton, Dundee United and Kenny Miller Rangers. It is published, the Scottish Football Podcast, every weekday at midday on BBC Sounds. Tomorrow, Ray will be focusing on Ross County with Stuart Kettlewell and Andy Skinner from the Press and Journal. One little interesting story that's come out today, that the football which Diego Maradona used to score his Hand of God goal against England at the 1986 World Cup is set to go to auction with an estimate of between £2.5 and £3 million. The referee, Ali bin Nasser, who took charge of the tie, failed to spot the handball. He is the owner of the ball. The Tunisian official said he felt it was the right time to share the item with the world and expressed hope that the buyer would put it on public display. I love it. That's very, very altruistic of you, Ali bin Nasser. No mention of the £3 million you're going to be pocketing as a result of that. I wonder how many of these balls have actually been sold over the years. No, this is definitely the ball that he used. It's like
Richard,
this, yeah.
You've got the referee that didn't see the handball now making
3
million out of it. Quite incredible.
It's magnificent.
There's no shame in the world.
Yeah. Just been, of course, reminded by Dougie. Okay, it was a million years before VAR was introduced, but of course it would never have stood. VAR would have got that sorted out. Well, probably. Maybe not the Scottish Premiership, but they would have noticed that. It's just a crazy story. But yeah, you hear so many stories of these signed shirts going to auction, and the fact turns out that there's about 15 of these shirts being sold at various auctions over the years. Anyway, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's the genuine ball, and it'll be really interesting to see. Excuse me, see how much it actually does fetch at that auction. Right, the players, see the Turkish players are beginning to re-emerge. The Scotland players coming down that tunnel too. It has been entirely underwhelming for Scotland. Billy Gilmore certainly still there, and as
Ramsey.
the players come out, is there?
I think I saw Ramsey there, Richard. And I wouldn't be surprised.
I think, by the looks of things, there are a couple of players just hovering by the touchline, so that suggests we are seeing changes. 1-0 for Turkey, 1-0 going on 3 or 4 after the opening 45 minutes. A couple of changes to come for Scotland. We just about make out what's happening there. Kenny McLean, I think, is that coming on?
Scott McKenna.
Scott McKenna it is, I beg your pardon. Scott McKenna. Right, okay. Your eyesight better than mine, Billy, when it comes to these screens.
I do know both players pretty well, though, Richard,
and here indeed comes Calvin Ramsey for his full Scotland debut. What's an incredible journey he has been on for the past 12 to 14 months. His career on such an upward trajectory. Right, let's hope for better in the second half. The last 45 minutes of international action for Scotland in 2022. It is currently Turkey 1, Scotland 0 as we return to Willie Miller, to Craig Levine and to Liam McLeod.
Yeah, 29th cap for Scott McKenna as he replaces Grant Hanley, and Calvin Ramsey comes on for Ryan Fraser. Like for like changes. Turkey have made a change as well. They've taken off Kukçu at the start of the second half and replaced him with Borussia Dortmund's Salih Ozcan. As the Turks get the second half underway, they are going from right to left, and they are all red with white flashes. Scotland in their white shirts, navy shorts, white socks. Long ball will go behind for a goal kick to the Scots, who trail 1-0 at the start of this second half, as Stevie Clarke looks to try and finish 2022 on a positive note. They've got 45 minutes to try and do so. Not by any stretch the most important game of this calendar year. That was the one in June against the Ukrainians in the playoff semi-final, one of the 2 defeats this year which have been insipid in nature. That one in the game against the Irish in Dublin. But here has been a pretty insipid performance against the Turks, who pick up on this near side. Back in their defensive third, it's shifted forward there into the midfield and played back by Kavici out to the left. He gets it back. Kavici on the turn under pressure from McTominay. He rolls it infield to the underlapping El Mali, who had an opportunity himself just a couple of minutes after coming off the bench in the first half. Kavici getting it again, midway inside Scottish territory. He rolls it out to the left there for Under, who crosses into the box, going to beat Tosun, but will be picked up on the reverse side by Celik. It's level with the penalty spot, back to Tosun on the turn, onto the right foot. Still they have it, Celik's offside. Free kick Scotland. The Turks threatening to just walk their way through the Scotland defence there. Turkey have it back again here. Well, I thought a free kick had been given there for offside.
Liam, the flag went up and the referee told me to take it back down again, and they allowed play to go to continue, and the Scottish players switched off a little bit. They've got away with it, but a little bit of a misunderstanding with the referee overruling the linesman.
Kosovan officials tonight. Turkey have it, and it's played back into their own half by Ozcan to Soyuncu. Gets it back immediately. Stevie Clarke's away record as Scotland manager, including the draw at Wembley last summer, which was in effect, I suppose, a neutral game. This is the 20th one. He's won 8, drawn 5, lost 6. They've been pretty good on the road recently, with the exception of that match in Dublin. El Mali picks up a throw-in on the halfway line on the Turkish left as they go right to left in the second half. 47.5 on the clock. 1-0 Turkey. El Mali has it. He sweeps it into the centre circle here, where it is picked up by Kabak, the goal scorer, to Celik. Out to the right-hand side. First time it is played back down the line by Under. Turkey have it with Soyuncu. Just outside the centre circle, low ball to the left-hand side for Özkaçar. Gets it back immediately. And then into the middle of the pitch, they've given it away, and it's Armstrong going to profit. Opportunity to move it to his left. He's waited way too long. He goes down, and the referee's not interested in awarding Stuart Armstrong a free kick. The quick ball out to the left was the answer there. Instead, it's Turkey coming up the other end, looking for a second. They might finish the Scots off. Yes, it's in. It's a brilliant finish by Cengiz Ünder. Scotland were in up the other end. That sums up this performance. As Ünder rolls it low into the bottom left. Gordon didn't even dive. It's Turkey 2 and insipid Scotland 0.
Well, what was Stuart Armstrong thinking about? I mean, he's approaching the opponent's box. He's got two runners in front of him. He has the opportunity to play either pass. He holds on to the ball too long, loses it. Robertson's out of position. I think he tried to claim a free kick, didn't he, Armstrong?
He did, yeah.
They've just broken on us. It's 2v2, and to be fair, it's an absolute outstanding finish.
It is brilliant, isn't it? You know, in terms of the coolness and the calmness that Ünder shows there, and you know, maybe Scott McKenna closes him down a little bit. I think it goes through his legs. Yeah, it does. Which is a little bit unfortunate for him. Kieran Tierney's away up the park. You know, he's one of the possibilities that Armstrong can pass the ball to.
Yeah.
So he's taken out the game completely, and it's a quick fire retort from them, and you know, we're all over the place. There's a big gap. There's calmness in the Turkish player to just slot it home, and so early in the second half to lose that second goal is a huge blow.
Yeah, Cengiz Ünder, the Marseille striker, 15th international goal for him. Came too easily there though. As nice a finish as it was, he's passed it into the bottom left through the legs of McKenna. And that goal coming early in the second half. As Dykes collects on this near side, under pressure, and eventually it's taken off him by Soyuncu. Armstrong trying to win it back. Turkey clear. Bounces off one of their own players, back into their own box, hooked over the head by Çalhanoğlu. And now it's picked up by Ünder across halfway. No ball into the centre circle. Ünder gets it back. Moves it to the right of the centre circle for the other goal scorer, Kabak. Now it is with Özcan. To Ünder. And back to Kabak again. And 2-0, and it's perhaps a more reflective scoreline on what we've watched in this game, because Turkey could have been 2 or 3, maybe even 4 up by half-time. Here they've their second goal early in the second half. O'Malley goes down on this near side. There will be a Turkey free kick. He was the meat in the sandwich. Calvin Ramsey, Scott McTominay. That was Armstrong.
It was Armstrong, and I think that's the last two challenges by Armstrong. I think he's angry about his part in the goal.
He thinks it should have been a free kick as well. I think he's feeling hard done by. I
don't
necessarily agree with him, but I think that's what's going through his mind.
There's another long ball. Turkey trying to spring the Scots down the left-hand side this time. O'Malley keeps it in play, but he can't win the corner off Hendry, and Ramsey clears his lines. Only as far as Çalhanoğlu, who plays it short to his left for Özkaçar. Back to Soyuncu, and to the right of the circle for Kabak. Turkey looking so comfortable. Lost their last match against the Faroe Islands, albeit they were far from full strength in that game. And are 7 of the starting 11 tonight who started the playoff semi-final defeat to the Portuguese, as they lost that one in Porto 3-1. Missed out on a playoff final against North Macedonia, who'd beaten the European champions Italy in the other semi. That meant that the two losers had to take part in a friendly, and that was the only defeat in 7 at home for Turkey when they lost to the Italians. Çalhanoğlu making a run forward, and they've got another option here. It might still find the net, and the effort goes wide from Tosun. He was on the left, he dragged it back onto the right, he puts it past, and Stefan Kuntz again applauding the effort of his team. 53rd minute, 2-0 Turkey, 2 going on, 3, 4 or 5 tonight.
Yeah, ripped open again defensively, all over the place, and very fortunate that Tosun doesn't slip that one into the near post. Personally, I think he should go for the far post. I must admit.
Oh, and Ramsey's lost it. Chance, it's inside the box. It's pulled back. Fresh air effort though from Under after he'd been teed up beautifully by Kavechi, and it stays 2-0. But this game can't finish soon enough for the Scots.
Why is he lashing at that, Craig?
Just needs to get any contact on target.
Absolutely.
Because the pace is in the ball.
And it's home. It's in the back of the net.
Young Ramsey got caught, didn't he, on the ball, trying to be a little bit too clever.
Well, yellow cards coming out again here, and it's, I think Chelik certainly got one. It was either Robertson or Gilmore who got the other. Robertson.
I think it's Robertson.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. The yellow card confirmed. 3 yellows in the game, just a friendly. 54 minutes played. 2-0 Turkey.
But that's silly from Andy Robertson. I mean, it's just frustration at the scoreline and also at the performance. And he'll be annoyed at his own performance first and foremost. But I think that the whole team have underperformed this evening.
Yeah, it's not been a good show. I think when you take on these friendly games, you know, away in Turkey, then you are going to be tested. You know that you're going to be tested, and you've got to be up for it. You know, right from the start, right throughout the game. I don't think we have. I just don't think that we've been up for it. You know, I think the organisation's been poor. I think individually and as a team, it's not been a showing that Steve Clarke will be particularly happy about.
Again, playing it long to Robertson, wide in the left of the Turkey box, pulls it back to Armstrong. Not a great first touch from him though. He runs into the defender, Kabak. Now it's back with Çalhanoğlu inside his own box, turns to face his own goal under pressure, and he deals with it brilliantly. Dink ball out of defence. Picked up by O'Malley, foul by Ramsey. Free kick Turkey, 2-0 Turkey, 10 into the second half.
I'm surprised Billy Gilmore's still on. He's been anonymous in the game. I mean, do you expect him to?
He needs to play in a team that's going to pass the ball through the middle of the park. Though.
Yeah.
You know, that's when he's at his best, and we haven't really attempted to do that this evening.
15 goal attempts to 3 in Turkey's favour.
It feels like that.
Yeah. Scotland lucky to be 2 down. It was Tosun who's given it away though, and Gilmore fouled just outside the centre circle, inside the Turkey half. You see the Turkish substitutes warming up. Now it's 6 apiece. Watching a foul by Tosun and McTominay from earlier. There's another free kick for the Scots. This time it's McGinn who is taken down by Kabak. Free kick Scotland further up the pitch, left to centre in the Turkey half. But there's really been nothing to be positive about. I mean, you always in defeats, you always try in poor performances to find something to grab onto ahead of these massive games in March against Cyprus and Spain. But there's been little, if anything, to be positive about from a Scottish point of view.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at individuals or you're looking at departments. There hasn't been good performances individually. Craig Gordon, perhaps.
There's been a couple of saves, yeah. Robertson with a free kick. Instead of putting it into the box, he squares it to Gilmore on the right-hand side of the park. Gilmore on the turn, shifts it back into the middle. Here's John McGinn. Looks up ahead of him, but the Turks have everyone back behind the ball here. As Armstrong ends up putting it back into his own half for Robertson. And he's going to slip it back out wide left to Armstrong. So an attacking free kick, and they've ended up knocking it around their own half. Not much confidence flowing through the team evidently right now. Such a play to Ramsey. He's all the way back to Gordon. 3 minutes shy of the hour. We are back here, and it is Turkey 2, Scotland 0. Turkey win it back, Scotland giving it away, and it slipped to Çalhanoğlu. Hendry gets there first though. Now it's at the feet of McTominay, facing the right way, plays it out to the left for Armstrong. Armstrong then looking to slide it to McGinn. He's in a good position inside the box, pulls it back, in behind Dykes though. And Turkey will emerge with it with O'Malley on the left-hand side of his own box. Turkey 2, Scotland 0.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent move as well, isn't it? And McGinn, I think he puts it into a hopeful...
O'Malley's down, Willie, sorry.
No, he puts it into a hopeful area. You know, and it goes behind Dykes. Maybe Dykes should be a little bit
think
deeper.
Dykes needs to put the brakes on there.
Yeah.
Soyuncu's got him marked, and it's 3 times that there's been balls like that in the box, Soyuncu's had his mark every single time. So he needs to make. There needs to be a sort of contra movement. He needs to go and stop, or to do something to get himself away from the defender.
Yeah.
2-0 to Turkey. You see a replay of Under's goal. And O'Malley, as I mentioned, has gone down. He put the ball out of play himself there before dropping to the turf. Remember, the Premiership is in its little winter hiatus now because of the World Cup, but the rest of the SPFL continues. We'll be across all the matches on Saturday here on Sports Sound. BBC Radio Scotland will be across the frequencies, online, on digital, and extra FM medium wave. The lineup on Saturday includes Inverness taking on the league leaders Ayr United in the Championship. Greenock Morton are in Aberdeen to play Cove Rangers. Another intriguing weekend in the Championship in Leagues 1 and 2. Full coverage will continue, and we've got a Scottish Cup third round weekend as well. The subsequent weekend, it's Friday through to the Monday. As Scotland pick up here, it's flicked through towards Dykes. Soyuncu gets there first though. And Çalhanoğlu barely wasted a pass tonight. He moves it to O'Malley. It looks like he's going to be okay to continue. Played just about an hour. The Turkish fans in the Kurdish stronghold city that the match is being played in are loving watching their international team for the first time at close quarters inside their own city and stadium. 2-0 up they are, and it's oh so easy for them. Scotland actually ranked 5 places above Turkey in the current FIFA rankings. Scotland at 40th, moved up 5 places themselves after the unbeaten September, went over Ukraine and Ireland at Hampden, and then the goalless draw in Krakow sealed top spot in their Nations League section, and with it a place in League A, a playoff guaranteed for the European Championship and a pot 2 seeding. Not that the pot 2 seeding did them any good when you see Norway pop out of pot 3. That wasn't in the script. It's not just Haaland, it's a mix of Odegaard and Elyounoussi, who's regularly in the team at Southampton. As Ramsey picks up on this near side, just rolling it back the way to Hendry and then to Gordon. Beyond the hour now. Here is Scott McKenna. Of course, he made the changes at half-time, but the 2 men who came on, McKenna and Ramsey, were barely bedded in the game when Turkey were making it 2-0, effectively wrapping the game up. The way Scotland are playing just now, they won't be scoring 1, let alone 2 or 3. Here's John McGinn bounding forward, challenged by Soyuncu. McGinn, he's inside the box. Oh, and he scored! Wonderful finish from John McGinn. Just as I said, they didn't look like scoring 1, let alone 2. John McGinn halves the arrears with a fabulous goal. He is the go-to man for goals for Stevie Clarke. And it's Turkey 2, Scotland 1, out of absolutely nowhere.
Out of left field, completely. I mean, that's what John McGinn does for Scotland, doesn't he? And I actually think he did really well there to keep going, because Soyuncu actually deliberately tried to bring him down, tried to take his legs away. He manages to power on. What a brilliant finish. And we've been waiting for that all night, Willie, haven't we? Not just the goal, but the actual determination and the aggression that he played with there.
Where does it come from, though? You know, because it has been such a poor performance, and then all of a sudden you've got this kind of a bright light on the field of play with John. And how far does he travel with the ball? And he's under pressure and he keeps his balance, because he easily went down, won the free kick. He didn't have any other option, and it's a tight angle as well.
It's
magnificently placed into the far corner. It's just superb.
And if you were to pick one guy who would, maybe just do something out of the ordinary, it would certainly be him, and his goal scoring record for Scotland tells you that.
It's absolutely brilliant from John McGinn, it really is. He smashed it home into the reverse right-hand corner. It's his 15th international goal. That takes him now above Maurice Johnston, level with the likes of James McFadden. Here they come again, cross from the left, too high for Dykes. They've burst into life all of a sudden as O'Malley clears for Turkey. Özcan on the counter now with Kavici to the left-hand side. It's Under's cross low. Gordon holds on. 63 played, Turkey 2, Scotland 1. Well, Willie Miller, 10 minutes ago, if that, I was asking you if there was anything positive to hang our hats on. Well, we have now. John McGinn's 15th international goal.
We do, Liam, and it's incredible because, you know, it's been as bad a performance as we've seen from Scotland. You know, and I would think and I would hope that Steve Clarke would admit that. But what you can also say is there's resilience in this squad, and you know that John McGinn epitomises that with picking that ball up and actually turning this game around. And that's what you can hang your hat on as a manager, Craig. I'm sure you agree with the resilience that is shown by one individual in particular that then all of a sudden goes through the team.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the game now, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Gilmour to McTominay as they attack the Turkish box again. McTominay out wide left for Robertson, takes a touch, low ball in, is cleared there by Kabak. Celik picks up. I think the referee has blown the whistle. The offside's been given. 2-1 with more than a quarter of this game still to play. Steve Clarke looks on from his dugout, his seat, as the flag went up against one of, if not both, of Dykes and Robertson.
You can only hope that as a manager, that you're sitting there and you're seeing your team, you know, and it's a depressing performance, and then you're looking for somebody to step up to the plate. You're looking for someone to get you out the mire, and John McGinn does it, and not for the first time he does it.
No, he has got history of doing that, hasn't he? I mean, he just sparked the whole thing into life with that one run, and for me, I can't explain how it would have been so much easier for him just to take the foul, because it wasn't like he was in a situation where he was right through in goal. He still had a lot of work to do, so to stay on his feet was a brilliant decision, as it turns out. If he hadn't done, we probably would have said he should have gone down, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he's got no company up there. He's got no options up there. He's got a spot that he's got to pick with the left foot that has got to be absolutely precise at the far post, because it's a tight angle and the goalkeeper
just the side net, and he's got to aim it. That's it.
And he's picked it out. It's just a magnificent goal.
2-1 Turkey, 65 in the clock. Here comes McTominay. His pass forward's cut out. Breaks kindly for Under, who finds Çalhanoğlu, who bends the ball out wide left for Al-Mali on this near side. Looks up at the Scotland box. Tosun had made his way to the edge of it. So it's out to Under on the left, now with Çalhanoğlu at walking pace. Little ball forward, and then Tosun goes down. No free kick. That looked as though Tosun was hard done by there. He claimed he should have had a penalty right at the end of the first half. It's McTominay's ball forward, laid back by Dykes for Armstrong. Armstrong is tripped. Free kick Scotland. They look a threat now all of a sudden. 66th minute. 2-1 to Turkey. You're talking about John McGinn in his magic moments as Scotland prepare to make a double change here, and Ryan Christie is going to replace Stuart Armstrong. And the other change for the Scots is going to be Ryan Jack, who hasn't been playing for Rangers because of injury recently, but he's going to play for Scotland here. Jack will come on for Gilmour. You're talking about the magic of John McGinn. Perhaps fitting he's drawn level with James McFadden now, because he was a man you could always rely on for a moment of magic in a Scotland shirt. They've both now got 15 international goals. Robert Hamilton, who scored 15 in 11 caps at the turn of the 20th century, also scored 15. The next target's Kenny Miller, who scored 18. McCoist got 19. Those are the next targets for John McGinn, and he's got plenty of time to usurp those two as well. 67th minute, Turkey 2, Scotland 1. Scotland free kick, which is just a few yards away from the edge of the centre circle. Right to centre. Robertson flights it into the box. It's headed away to the edge of the penalty area. It'll be Turkey able to get it clear. Here is Under flashing it forward, looking for the switch, looking for Tosun. Tierney defends it well though, hooks it over his head and finds Robertson, who puts it up high into the air, into the Turkish half. McGinn gets the flick out to this right hand side for Christie. Christie with a little low ball into the penalty area. It's McTominay, and his efforts blocked by Soyuncu, and Scotland have a corner. A reborn Scotland in this friendly international, which still has a quarter of it to go, with the scoreline Turkey 2, Scotland 1.
Yeah, what a difference a goal makes, Willie. It's incredible.
It's inspirational, isn't it, for John McGinn? I mean, out of nowhere, Craig, out of nowhere, out of the depth of this performance, all of a sudden we look like a team. We look like a team that's hungry. We look like a team that can play football, can keep possession, can create chances.
Such a strange game, isn't it?
Double change for Turkey. They're going to bring Deniz Türk on. Istanbul Başakşehir player, played both against Hearts in the Conference League this season. Craig will have probably seen him in action in those 2 matches. Enes Ünal is going to come on for Cenk Tosun as well. Ünal's a very good player. Getafe in Spain he plays for these days as he comes on. So it's 2 different threats, Ünal and Toruk, who come on. Scotland corner though. 2-1 Turkey. Heading into the final 21 minutes. What can they make of this corner? Can they draw level? That would be quite something if they do. In-swinger coming up from Robertson on the Scottish right. In fact, it's McGinn who's going to take this one. The assistant referee in the way just now. Now the ref is happy. McGinn takes, left-footed, very deep towards that back post area. It's headed wide by a Turkish defender by the looks of things, and it's going to be a corner to the Scots and a head collision between 2 Scottish players at the back post there. So there will be a little period of stoppage. 21 to play. Turkey 2, Scotland 1.
Dykes and McKenna, I think, isn't it?
It's actually come off the back, I think, of Kavici.
And the 2 fouls actually by the Turks against McKenna. Oh, it's an elbow in the face.
It's an elbow in the face, and then
to McKenna, and then
Dykes is dragged to the ground.
It was pulled to the ground. There's 2 penalties, Willie.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, as I said, there
is there VAR.
Yeah, well, his name's Alban Shala. He's the Kosovan video assistant. That's what I've got written down in front of me, and this is the official team sheet from the match that was emailed to me.
I think he must have had food poisoning before the game, and they just scrapped it.
But I mean, Turkey should have a penalty at the tail end of the first half.
Yeah. Maybe
you could argue both of those were penalties.
I mean, there's clearly no check going on here because well, we're seeing a replay of it now, right enough. It's Kabak who was being given some medical attention there, but
look at Kabak, he's not even watching ball, he just runs right at Dykes and pushes him to the ground.
Yeah.
If that's not a penalty, then I don't know what is.
Well, I can only assume that the VAR's not happening tonight. As the corner comes in, there's a header over the crossbar. What a chance for Jack Hendry. I think it was Dykes got the first header. Hendry heads over. Final 20 minutes. Turkey 2, Scotland 1.
He's managed to get himself free as well, Jack Hendry. It's an awkward one for him. It's behind him, isn't it? Just seeing a replay here.
And it's dipping as well.
Yeah.
And he is free though, isn't he? Inside the 6-yard box, so you'd see that as a chance.
I think his movement is just taking him a little bit too far forward, and he's got to try and manufacture the header. Doesn't manage to do it, puts it over the bar. But it's really difficult to understand this game of football that we've just watched from Scotland. We're now seeing the team that we have watched for a number of years now under Steve Clarke. But the first, 50, 60 minutes, it's just been, so poor that you're thinking, how can Scotland turn this round? And then they have the inspiration of John McGinn, and all of a sudden they look like a team that's out there enjoying themselves and enjoying a game of football.
This seems to be a recurring theme recently. It's been a good year. It's been a really productive year in many ways, but there has been disappointments. Massive disappointment in losing to Ukraine. Didn't start that one well. Didn't start the game in Dublin well. We're fortunate in Krakow because Ukraine had loads of opportunities in that match. There was 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances. Didn't start that game particularly well either. Didn't start this one well. It's a problem for Stevie Clarke that's going to need remedied by March time. And there's no games till then. The next game in the diary is Cyprus, and then it's Spain, straight into the heat of the battle. As Christie picks up 72 played, Scotland on the attack again. This is Tierney rolling it in towards McTominay. It was just pinched away from him, really importantly, by Özcan. And Turkey have it inside their own box, right enough. Çelik's under pressure, and he's under so much pressure from Robertson, he needs to just put it out for a Scottish throw-in. On the far side, all of a sudden, there's a draw in this game for Scotland.
The mindset of the Turkey players has changed as well. And that's the first time we've really pressed high up the field. Went after the ball, and the first signs of panic in this match.
Still plenty time for the Scots to get a positive result out of this game. keep the momentum going ahead of those Euro 2024 qualifiers. Tierney bowls the long throw into the box. McKenna gets his head to it. It's going to be booted away to safety. Up towards the halfway line. Robertson will collect. 73 on the clock. 2-1 to Turkey. Robertson with a long left-footed ball out to this near side. Dykes wins the header. Headed clear by Soyuncu at the edge of the box. He was fouled there. And that'll be a free kick to Turkey right on their 18-yard line.
Well, there's positives. You know, I think we were staring into a black hole as far as positives was concerned before that John McGinn strike. But, you know, I think the manager can rightly come out now and say, well, yeah, it wasn't good, but we turned it round, and we turned it round by doing whatever he thinks that they'd have done to change it round. It's definitely, it doesn't look tactically that I can see. I think it's still the same shape of team, different personnel, obviously.
Well, the goal has changed the match. As simple as that.
Yeah, I'm searching for reasons why it's changed, and you're absolutely right. You're spot on. It's only one reason.
Yeah,
it's a goal.
Just because of John McGinn.
Individual strike from McGinn. Individual run and strike. It's absolutely perfect. It's turned the game round.
You say goals change games, don't they? There's never been a truer word spoken. Yeah. This is a great example of it.
Just over 15 minutes to play. TR back here. And it is McKenna for the Scots. Short to McTominay. He switches the play to Hendry. On the touchline on this near side is Ramsey. Big night for Calvin Ramsey. It's been a big couple of weeks for him. Liverpool debut in the Champions League. Played the cup tie from the start last week. Now his full Scotland debut. They've given it away, and it's Turkey in the midfield picking it up. They've made changes as well, which might have disrupted them. And the flow of the attack was cut out there as Kaveci drove forward. And that's us on 75 minutes. Turkey 2, Scotland 1. The Turks were paired with Croatia, Wales, Armenia and Latvia in another 5-team group for qualifying for the finals in Germany. They too will have a guaranteed playoff should they fail to finish in the top 2 of that section. It's Kaveci on this left-hand side. Turkey pick up, level with the 18-yard line. Up against Ramsey. Does well, does Calvin Ramsey. Plays it back off Kaveci, but it's come off him last, says the referee. A free kick to the Turks. Again, level with 18. O'Malley bowls it back the way to Oskachar. O'Malley again down the touchline, back into his own half. And it's going to be moved back by Turuk to his goalkeeper. A short ball to Soyuncu. Soyuncu has it on that right-hand side. Turkey were, I mentioned their draw there, they were third seeds. It's Croatia and Wales to the top 2. They'll fancy their chances though, as that's threaded through to the right-hand side of the Scottish box. Gordon's forced to make a really good save. It's a decent enough attempt as well, which he did well to block from Enes Ünal. And Scotland get it away, and it's with Ryan Jack midway inside his own half. 76.5 on the clock, with Turkey leading by 2-1. Gordon forced into action again, Craig Levine.
Yes, I mean, that was a pretty standard save for Craig Gordon, but I mean, he's again hasn't really done anything wrong tonight at all.
It's a tight angle. You would put it down as a run-of-the-mill save for Craig, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure.
But he's done everything right. You know, he's covered his near post. He made it really difficult for the strike to beat him. You know, and when it comes in, you know, he just blocks it. But listen, we talk about him every game, don't we? He's an important stopper in between the sticks, and he's been brilliant for Scotland.
Yeah, and earning his 74th cap tonight. He'd have had so many more had he not had that period out of the game. He'd be well over the 100 by now, you would imagine.
Yeah, we'd have thought so, because was he out for now on 3 years?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah,
just about 3 years. Yeah. Albeit Alan McGregor and David Marshall were able deputies, would have to say. I saw an article, I'm assuming it's true, that Craig Gordon's told Steve Clarke he'd be quite happy to play on till he's 50, which would be quite something.
Till Steve's 50.
Steve was 50 a good while ago. approaching 60 now as the Scotland manager. Double change coming up. Scots to make a double change. Lewis Ferguson, I noticed, was one of them. It's rolled all the way back to the goalkeeper Shakir, and there's no real pace in the game anymore. It's been played more like a friendly now as the offside flag was up against Turkey over on that far side. 12 in the 90 to play. Turkey 2, Scotland 1, and Scotland will make another couple of changes here. Lyndon Dykes, I see, is coming over to the near side, and it's Jacob Brown who comes on to replace him. Stoke City forward who missed the camp in September. Lewis Ferguson wearing the number 10. He's just forced his way into the Bologna team. He's replaced McTominay. Scored a cracking goal. He scored 3 in his last 5 actually for Bologna. It's Ferguson's goal. His most recent outing was a superb finish, arched into the top right corner.
He scored a few for Aberdeen as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was their top scorer last season. Ferguson had one more than Christian Ramirez as Henry picks up. He was penalty taker in chief as well though for Aberdeen as Henry collects on this near side, midway inside the Turkish half. Now with McGinn, let's get the ball to McGinn. He's on the ball here. He's barged unceremoniously to the deck there by Kavici. It will be a free kick to Scotland. Just about level the edge of the centre circle on the right hand side.
McGinn knew exactly what he was doing there, how to draw the foul.
Scots have it on the near side. McGinn again. Little dink ball's cut out. Christie can't control on the follow-up. Turkey in possession with Turuk moved into the midfield. There's a statistic for you that's just popped up there. 402 to 298 passes completed. 283 passes completed for the Scots. Long big switch out to this left-hand side for the Turks with Kavici. Been met by Ramsey. It's a toe onto it, out for a Turkey throw-in. Level with the Scottish penalty spot on the Turkey left.
I like that,
to the left.
I like that, how he engaged there, you know, rather than just once the opponent turned away. He was right after him, Ramsey, wasn't he?
Yeah, and to be fair on the youngster, you know, the defensive side is not his strongest yet. You know, very good on the ball and going forward, but in this game, since he's come on, he's defended extremely well.
Yeah, he had that one moment in the box where he made a mistake.
Yeah, but
other than that, he's been good.
Yeah, I think defensively, what was meaning is getting close to players, not allowing them to turn and take you on, and you know, making it difficult for them to actually get face to face with you.
Well, he did that there. Yeah. That's what I was impressed with. I mean, he's one player I haven't seen an awful lot of. Is that his strength, the attacking side of things?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. When he was at Aberdeen, that was that was his big strength. Use of the ball, getting forward, delivery into the box was superb, absolutely superb.
Kavici and Under have been replaced by Turkey with Ismail Yüksek, who plays for Fenerbahce, midfielder, and Kerem Aktürkoğlu, who plays for Galatasaray, played both against St Johnstone in the Europa League qualifiers last season, scored at McDermott in the 4-2 win after St Johnstone had drawn 1-1 in Istanbul. 81.5 on the clock, 2-1 to Turkey. Scotland running out of time if they want to find an equaliser. So Yunchu clears. He's got the armband now since Çalhanoğlu went off. Long clearance, which is flicked on brilliantly there. Fabulously done by Unal. And now the man who's just on, Aktürkoğlu, in possession, dancing around at the edge of the Scottish box. He's into it now. Rolls it wide left. It's a poor pass. Ramsey can't prevent it going over the line for a Turkish throw-in though on the near side. Fabulous skill there by Aktürkoğlu.
Yeah, it was lovely to watch, wasn't it? You know, just taking that little drawback, because Scotland's got 3 players round about him as well. His close control was brilliant. You know, the pass could be a little bit better, but it was delightful to watch.
82.5 played. It's picked up on this near side for Turkey with Enis Unal. Played it all the way back to halfway for Soyuncu. Under pressure from Jacob Brown, he moves it back to his keeper. All they need's one opportunity, Scotland, although Turkey looking to finish the game here. Aktürkoğlu battling with it, but the flag's gone up against him. Scotland have a free kick which is taken quickly by Ferguson. Tierney moving it back there to McKenna. Now with Hendry. Lewis Ferguson will be back, delighted to be back in the national fold. He was frustrated and been left out in September as he struggled to break into the Bologna side. He's been starting plenty recently as well. 84th minute, 2-1 to the Turks. Scotland came back into it in 62 minutes. John McGinn's 15th international goal. But the real momentum in the game has been completely taken away. As I said earlier, it's been played more like a friendly now. When you have all those substitutions made, just takes the momentum away from the players.
It does, doesn't it? You know, the conditions actually look to have improved in the second half as well. It's improved from a Scotland point of view, but I think as a spectacle, the pace and the tempo has been taken out of it. I think Turkey are quite happy if they see this one out at 2-1. Scotland in a way will be happy with the final half hour, I would suggest, but you know, I think that there's plenty issues to deal with before that.
Ball into the box for the Scots is cleared. Kabak, header from Jack, trying to keep it alive, but it bounces awkwardly for Robertson and goes out for a Turkey throw midway inside their own half, over on the Turkish right. 84.5 played. Turkey 2, Scotland 1.
Will Steve have enough in this match if it finishes 2-1 to be positive afterwards?
I think so. I think he can point out to the resilience, Craig.
Yeah,
you know, the fact that you know, it was a very difficult night for them. The opposition were better than them. They created chances, didn't defend particularly well, but they didn't give in. And you know, they've got that inspirational player in John McGinn.
Brown inside the box, can't get it controlled though. Turkey clear. I mean, they were terrible for an hour of this game, terrible. But they've been really good in the last 22 minutes since they scored the goal. And it's given them a platform to potentially take something from this game.
These managers are masters at finding positives.
Yes, you're all very good at it. That's passed back to Jack. Low ball forward down the right there for Christie. Looks up left foot, swings the ball into the box. Well, Celik decided to leave it, and it did go over the byline despite the best efforts of Robertson. Collides into the advertising. And 85.5 of the clock. Turkey 2, Scotland 1. Andy Robertson talking in his media conference last night about how frustrated he is when he sees all his clubmates, well, a lot of his clubmates, heading off to their respective camps ahead of the World Cup finals in Qatar, which get underway on Sunday. But it's little things like that individually that's got to drive you on to try and attain success with your national team moving forward.
Yeah, and particularly when, you know, Scotland are such a positive moment. There have been setbacks of course, but in general I think everybody agrees that we're on the right path at the moment.
It's a terrible ball by Ramsey, and Turkey are in. Aktakoglu, left-hand side of the box, level with the 6-yard line. Scotland get numbers back. The cross is cut out though. Jack flicks it back to Ramsey, who finds Ferguson. Now it's picked up here by Christie, deep inside his own half. Short ball to Ferguson. 3.5 of the 90 to play. Little ball forward for Jack. Steps forward, he's body checked. Advantage given by the referee though. There's McGinn. Looking for Brown, can't get there, so Yunchi gets there first and pops it out for a Scotland throw-in the final third though. It's taken quickly by McGinn, back to Jack. Approaching 87 minutes, the cross comes in, headed down into the ground and away by Soyuncu. Turkey giving it away at the edge of their own box. Here's Ferguson, back to Ramsey. Ramsey back out wide right for Ferguson. Have a good understanding from their time at Pittodrie last season. The big switch actually goes behind Kieran Tierney. He has to retreat into his own half to get onto it. Now he crosses the halfway, facing the Turkish goal. Tierney looks to switch it again, this time left to right. Out to Ramsey, who controls. Short ball infield to Ferguson. Ferguson's a lovely dummy by Christie, who gets it back. He shoots, it's over the bar. McGinn claims it's taken a touch. I think Turkey are going to end up with a goal kick here. Christie off target. 87.5 on the clock. Turkey 2, Scotland 1. Wonderful build-up play. The dummy from Christie was magnificent. McGinn found him on the follow-up, but he's put it high over the bar, and it stays 2-1 to the hosts in the closing stages.
Yeah, two excellent pieces of play. The step over from Christie was fantastic, and then the weight of the pass from McGinn into his path and on his right side, and he might have preferred it on his left, Christie, but it should be hitting the target for there, Willie. I would think.
I think that's what you've got to concentrate on, isn't it? Make sure the goalkeeper's working rather than putting it over the bar. But again, excellent play from Scotland, showing that calmness and that understanding perhaps between the two. They've played a number of internationals together, and that understanding only comes when you've been able to do that.
90 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Turkey clearing their lines down that right-hand side. Do the Scots have another opportunity in them? That might be it, Christie would hit it low, test the goalkeeper at least. Just the one effort on target for the Scots, and it was John McGinn's that found the net as Christie loops the ball forward. It's a poor pass though, and it goes out for a goal kick as we move in towards the final minute of the match here. Turkey 2, Scotland 1.
Yeah, and there's another stat that the manager can put. He says the shots in goal were 100%. One shot and one goal.
Yeah, just seeing a replay of McGinn's fine finish, left-footed into the bottom reverse right-hand corner. It's magnificent. Another one for the collection for John McGinn.
The thing is, though, that there's no doubt. I know Steve Clarke says you've got to move on after the disappointment of not participating in the World Cup, and that's absolutely right. I don't disagree with him at all, but must be regrets there, particularly when you see Wales, having the opportunity to go and play, and these players as well. They've missed a great chance to play in the biggest stage that they could possibly play in.
As I said earlier, they want that to drive them when it comes to the Euro 2024 qualifying campaign. 5-team group, there's not too much margin for error. Those 2 games fewer. 3 minutes of injury time went into the first of those. Free kick from Robertson into the box. McKenna's header is clear by Turkey. Still alive though, it's up into the air, loads of height, no distance. Was that a push inside the box? And Ferguson, it breaks to McGinn at the edge of the box, and it's deflected wide off a Scottish player, and it goes behind for a goal kick. The referee doesn't want to give penalties tonight.
I'm not so sure. I think there was a lot of them coming together there. Is it a penalty? I don't think so.
That's debatable.
It's debatable, but I don't think it's a penalty. Do you think it's a penalty, Craig?
I need to see it again, but certainly I wasn't sitting here screaming penalty, that's for sure.
Plus the defender's won it as well. He's won the header.
He did.
I think it's pretty clear there's no VAR. I'm not sure what the UEFA official UEFA documentation's going on about, but anyway, it's pretty clear from the way the game's progressed. There's been no VAR stoppages, and there have been incidents. There's been 3 penalty incidents in the game, and not one of them's taken any length of time to come to a decision on. One of the 3 minutes of injury time's come and gone, with Turkey still leading by 2-1. Picked up on this near side, O'Malley with the long high ball into the Scottish half, which Tierney flicks to Henry, heads it forward, but Turkey might be in here. Aktakoglu, left hand side of the box, rolls it back to the 18-yard line. It's deflected behind for a Turkey corner, and that will probably be just about that. They might get one opportunity here, the Turks, for a 3rd goal, but that will probably be it, and it's looking like defeat for Scotland in their final match of 2022. Which has been an up and down roller coaster year for the national team under Steve Clarke.
I think on the night though, they've clawed the game back, haven't they? The last 20 minutes or so have been positive, because I think we would have been struggling to point out any positivity
before the goal,
up until the goal. The goal.
Free kick's been given. It's as good as a corner though. It came from the short corner. They tried to waste the seconds away, such as their desire to win in the city for the first time, as Christie smashed into him.
I don't think we needed VAR to tell us that was a free kick.
Yep, and they're just time wasting down below us. Eventually goes out for a Scotland throw-in. There's only 30 seconds left, barely time to get to the Turkish penalty area here. Jack Henry stole way too many yards for the referee's liking. He tells him to take the throw-in again. Hendry over at level with the 6. Bowls it forward. It's flicked on. Here is Ferguson. Needs to be route 1 here. Final 10 seconds. Tierney blasting it forward. Jacob Brown controls with his back to the Turkish goal. Out to the near side for Christie. Fires it forward. Can't quite find a teammate. It breaks back to Christie. Heads it clear. Soyuncu makes a mess of it. It's with McGinn. Chip ball. Ferguson's little header into the penalty area. It's Christie inside the box, dancing around, moving to the byline, pulls it back, behind by Soyuncu for a corner. It's their time to take it though. 2-1 Turkey, but in a 4th minute of injury time, 3 were added.
The referee's quite relaxed, I think. He maybe wants to see another minute or so.
Well, it's given the Scots a chance that didn't look like coming. Craig Gordon's come up for it. It's only a friendly as well. In comes the corner. The goalkeeper punches it away, and the referee will blow for full time, and Scotland lose in Turkey in this final match of 2022. They didn't turn up for the first hour, and that caused them problems. Lucas Kabak and Ünder had Turkey 2-0 with a goal either side at half-time. They could have had a lot more though. Stefan Kuntz, the Turkish manager, celebrating on the touchline, because they were very good for the first hour. Scotland let them be good though, and let them be better than perhaps they could have been. We'll never know now. John McGinn hauled the Scots back into it with a fabulous goal, his 15th for his country. When it wasn't enough on the night, and Steve Clarke will point to the positives in the final half hour of this one. The first hour was pretty worrying. You need to start games better, and attention will now turn to the Euro 2024 qualifiers, which begin in the spring. And that first match against the Cypriots followed just a few days later by a visit from the Spanish, and that is what it's all about. That's what this game was all about, building up to that one. And it's been an up and down year for sure. The real low of failing to qualify for the World Cup finals, losing that playoff semi-final to Ukraine back in June on an emotion-charged night in Glasgow's south side. The defeat in Dublin, which came not long after that, with a resurrected Nations League campaign, saw them promoted, guarantee themselves a Euro 2024 playoff and a pot 2 seeding. We will find out what 2023 has to bring. Will it be qualifying for a second successive European Championship finals? We shall see. But for the Scots, they'll have to watch the World Cup on the telly like the rest of us as they end 2022 for them with defeat in Turkey. Finished Turkey 2, Scotland 1.
This is Sports Sound.